First rule of sim racing, race with cockpit view. The second rule of sim racing, throw away Forza Horizon. Third rule of sim racing, don't tell your family how much it costs for your sim racing rig, yes? Okay, I get it, I'm not funny, but don't skip this video because I'm going to share with you some amazing tips to save you a lot of time. Things to know first, once you are set for sim racing, most importantly, first, even if you've been sim racing for a while, revisiting your setup might help you save some precious seconds of lap times. Going for the overtake, all straights, baby. So anyway, setting up your sim racing equipment. One thing is getting the sim racing gear you need to get started, right? Another thing is putting it all together in your racing simulator setup. There are several solutions to this, as many companies have developed rigs made for sim racing. All just help provide a place for equipment not to take up your space on your desk. Yeah, that's all it is. You can race without a store-bought sim rig. What you're watching cannot be for store-bought. It's custom built for me, by me. Subscribe! Whether they're called driving simulator setups or racing simulator, whatever, or pro sim rigs, listen, they're just putting all your equipment in one spot away from your desk. So you can do it your own way. You can DIY your own sim rig. Get your wood out. You know, anyway. An important yet often overlooked aspect of setting up your driving simulator setup is the notion of ergonomics. Being comfortable when you race is key to being consistent, but it also depends on how close you want to simulate the real-world racing experience. In a real race car, the driver's center of gravity is much lower than in an average civilian car. Consider your adjustments so that your screens and displays are proper distance from your eyes. Your arms are at a proper angle when gripping the wheel, allowing you to steer with sufficient strength. Your sitting position is considered, whether it's more vertical or horizontal. All are adjustments you can choose to make to more closely simulate real-life racing. With everything plugged in and sitting comfortable in your simulator setup, to make sure the drivers for your equipment are up to date on your PC, computer, right? So sim racing equipment is also all about calibrating with the software. Your hardware has to talk to your software, yes? Therefore, everything should be updated to the newest versions to take advantage of recent developments. In racing simulators, there are plenty of options for tweaking the settings further. Having software for both individual pieces of equipment and the specific game can become cumbersome, as one adjustment leads to shift in another you just made. Can get annoying, like when you're trying to set up triple screen and you're setting up like your left one and messes up with your right one. Anyways, it's a known issue for sim racers, but taking your time to set your sim racing rig and software will play a big part in your sim racing success. Now let's get to the main tips here. Tip number 1, start with slower cars. You will have way more fun using these during your transition periods, as your brain has way more time to process what's going on. You'll be closer to competitive, as the difference between okay, good, and great is dulled by the machinery. Forget the Ferrari and the Lambo for now. You need to be looking at the little hatchbacks, little cars like the Mazda MX-5, for example, right? Tip number 2, anyway, drive as many cars as you can. If you narrow your focus on pure thoroughbred race cars, this will punish your learning phase aggressively. A GT3 car will make you feel like the worst driver in the world. A Fiat about 500 will make you feel like a driving god, but still teach you muscle memory. We'll talk about that later in the video. Tip number 3, start slow. These are meant to feel like the real cars, so try and approach the track or the roads in my case by learning how you would in real life. You wouldn't just go out and smash into the wall 20 times in real life, so start slow and gradually build up your speed. Tip 4, learn about proper FOV, field of view. Make sure you're using the proper field of view, FOV, in every sim racing game you are playing. Set your monitor as close as you can to your face. Yes, find a way to have a consistent sitting position every time you play. This will help your brain process visual inputs and foster development of muscle memory. Muscle memory will translate to a real car driving experience. Sim racing is more than playing a game. Yeah, it teaches you more than you think. Tip 5. Start with the slow in, fast out driving style. Instructors teach slow in, fast out because it's safer, and the natural tendency is for new drivers to charge, corner, and barely make it, or slide off the track, right? So starting with this in mind will help you make more corners while you get used to the corner entry speed on your simulator. Now that you know the key fundamentals to being an excellent sim racer, a question I'll be asked a few times since sharing my sim racing experience is, do I need 3 monitors for sim racing? You don't need 3 monitors for your sim racing setup at home. While some sim racers prefer a multi-monitor setup for a wider view, many others are racing with a single monitor or even use virtual reality headsets for an immersive experience in the rig. The choice ultimately depends on your personal preference and budget, and also the level of immersion you want. To sum up, sim racing allows for different levels of commitment depending on your personal ambition. Do you want to live out the dream of racing 202 miles an hour, cornering and drifting like a professional, or just racing with your friends? A personal racing simulator will help you live that dream.